Welcome to the Human Capital Innovations Podcast. We're your source for personal, professional, and organizational growth and development, where we share original research, explore industry trends, and interview executives and thought leaders from across the globe. We hope you join us often for practitioner-oriented content around all things related to leadership, HR, talent management, organizational development, and change management. Maximize your personal and organizational potential with Human Capital Innovations Podcast. Do you enjoy the Human Capital Innovations Podcast? Enjoy ad-free listening by going to the Patreon page, and please consider contributing even at the producer or sponsorship level. And please leave a review. Thank you for your support. Welcome to the Human Capital Innovations Podcast. In this HCI Podcast episode, I talk with Edward Sutton and Brad Basmajisn about how to make your employee benefits stand out from the rest. Edward Sutton and Brad Basmajisn, welcome to the Human Capital Innovations Podcast.
Thanks for having us, John.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be with both of you today. Where are you both joining me from today?
So I'm in Los Angeles County, several hours away from Ed.
Yeah, and I'm in a place called Mulligan Township, which is about 25 miles northwest of Atlantic City, New Jersey.
Wonderful. And I'm south of Salt Lake City, so we got the spread of the country covered in our conversation today. Today we're going to be talking about how to make your employee benefits stand out from the rest. This is a super important topic. I think one thing that will come up, and we'll probably pull this apart and dissect it a little bit, is just the rising cost of employee benefits and how companies are really grappling with that. And so finding a way to manageably and sustainably, provide benefits for your people is an ongoing concern of, I think, just about every leader, every HR manager in particular, every comp and benefits person. And so finding ways to leverage what you have to make it stand out and to communicate that effectively to your employees, I think, is important as it has ever been. So this is what we'll be exploring together today. As we get started, I just wanted to briefly introduce both Edward and Brad, and then if you can both share with us a little bit more about your professional background and anything else you'd like us to know before we dive on into the conversation. Edward Sutton is Chief Sales Officer at Toco at Work, and Brad Basmajisn is Chief Operating Officer at Toco Warranty. Again, anything else you would both like to share with me or my audience before we dive on in?
No, I think it's a great jumping off point. I've been, doing this for 10 plus years. Ed has been doing this for quite a long time. So, I'm sure we have a lot of opinions to share on this subject. So I'm ready to dive in if you are, Ed.
Yeah, the other thing I would add, John, is that I've been in the benefit business for, close to 40 years, both on the carrier side and on the brokerage side. So I have a pretty good, well-rounded background in regards to, our topic of discussion today.
That's fantastic. And I imagine maybe we could start there. Give us a quick overview of 4 decades worth of comp and benefits experience. Where have you seen things go, over the last several decades to get us to where we're at today?
Sure. And that's a great jumping off point. I've focused on over my career on the voluntary employee benefit side of the business. So, non-core employer benefits, right? And we're always been what I would call the ugly stepchild of the business, right? And trying to help employers, but also, brokers and benefit consultants understand the real value of delivering a voluntary benefit program. And, what I've seen over time, good and in a good and in poor economy, is that voluntary benefits are a much needed component of the overall employee benefit package. And in a good economy, things are good. Employers, might have a little bit more of a budget to fund, the medical, the dental, life insurance, and some of the core benefits. And sometimes they pay for even some of the voluntary products. And as an example, our program is both employee paid and can be employer funded. But in a poorer economy, voluntary benefits tend to be better for a better choice for a lot of employer groups out there that can't deliver the benefit package that they want to their employees. So overall, what we're offering today is really something of great value that in this economy employers can select.
In the voluntary employee benefits space, have you seen some major trends and shifts over the last few decades?
I would say that there's been an up and down in the marketplace, and it really depends on the voluntary benefit that the employer is offering. So, to give an example, life insurance sales on the voluntary side have been relatively flat for about the last decade, right? So, employers, and most employers, offer some form of a group core, life insurance benefit, and sometimes a supplemental or a voluntary program, which is 100% portable, which means that the employee owns. So as far as life insurance goes, that's been relatively flat. We've seen increases more in non-traditional voluntary benefits over the last several years, like identity theft protection, legal protection, pet protection, pet insurance protection, and now this offering is new, unique, and really fresh. So we're hoping we'll see a significant impact in the marketplace real soon with it.
To kind of piggyback on the state of the market right now, and how this is really I think it's good if I went back and told a little bit about how we got here to really accentuate kind of why this is so poignant at this time. We started this company 10 years ago because this is a product that everybody has a story for. I know I do. I remember being 18 and having a Jeep that I was worried every single time I'd get in my car whether or not this thing would turn over and get me from point A to point B. It's just such a relatable fear that Americans have relying on their vehicle. If either you or someone has had that experience. And for the longest time, a product like this was really only attainable if you were buying a new car and you bought a warranty at a dealership. But along came these third-party marketers and started to sell it to people who were outside of the dealership. But the problem always has been is it was always priced way too high and sold way too aggressively in order to make their business model work. And because of that, it was just unattainable and unattractive for the people who needed it the most. So, a long story very short, that was really the catalyst that birthed Toco. And we created a company with the goal of trying to get this into the hands of the people who actually could use a product like this, because we believed wholeheartedly this is something that was life-saving in many cases. So we built it. We built it under the idea that this is going to be priced lower than anything else out in the industry. It was going to be priced in a way that was attainable for people, treated like any other utility in their life, a month-to-month product with high customer satisfaction. Our driving goals were to earn the customer's business over and over every single month. That was our phase one. The entire time we were doing this and building this product out, the idea of entering the employee benefit space was always there. That seed had always been planted from the very beginning, because it's the natural extension of the idea of what we were trying to do, to get this into the hands of people who really actually needed it. And when you talk about that fear you have getting in your car and not knowing if it's going to work, a lot of that fear is really, am I going to be able to get to my job? Am I going to be able to continue to earn a living? Is this going to cause a disruption? Because your job for most Americans is really what fuels every other priority in your life. So again, 9-10 years, we've been working at how do we prove this product out and successfully enter this space. And over that time, we've gone to the shows, we've met the right people, we've taken our time to really do the research and figure out how to build a product that's going to actually adapt into the space to solve a ton of problems, not only for employees, but for employers as well. And, we're smart enough, wise enough to know what we didn't know. And that was what led us to really start talking to the experts in this industry, one of which is here with us today, which is Ed Sutton. He, amongst several others in our group, are really helping to spearhead this product. And I know I've talked a lot here, and we can jump into all the other reasons this makes sense in this space specifically, but that's kind of our path and how we got here, and why we're working with someone like Ed, who really knows the space inside and out and is going to help us to really get it where we want to get it in terms of into the hands of the people, like I said, who really actually truly need it.
I would add that, we're delivering a program that is simple and easy for the employee to understand. Number two, easy to enroll in. And number three, affordable, right? Three main components to any type of voluntary benefit program that is out there today. And I think it's important to understand that when outside of this program, when you purchase a vehicle warranty service plan, that company is truly underwriting that vehicle, which means that vehicle needs to be properly maintained, number one, but they're also charging based on the age of that vehicle, the type of vehicle, the mileage of that vehicle, right? We make it very simple. We underwrite the employee, right? And we'll underwrite their vehicle as long as their vehicle is properly maintained, younger than 15 years of age, and has less than 150,000 miles at time of enrollment. So you can own just about every vehicle out there as long as it's non-commercial use, right? And it's not a high-performance vehicle, all right? And our price point is exactly the same for every single employee, which makes it easy for the employee, but more importantly, makes it easy for the employer when it comes to the payroll deductions for that program.
Yeah, and just to add on to that, and that's a good point, Ed. I talked about how we started this on the direct-to-consumer side by trying to make this the best priced product out there, and getting into the employer space. We needed to make this even better priced. We needed to really figure out a way to lower the price point so that this was a no-brainer for employees or employers. And it's really because of that, because of what Ed said, is we're underwriting the person, not the car, that allows us to really achieve a group rate that's going to bring this so much cheaper than anything else out there. And that's key to, like I said, really making this a no-brainer for people, because you don't really always prioritize the things you should prioritize in your life. And if this is a thing that is going to actually, save you in a situation, to make it as easy to enroll in, to make it as cheap as possible, to make it as, like I said, a no-brainer as possible, is really what we had to do to get into this space. And, that's how we were able to get it the way that we got it and price it the way that we did.
Yeah, and that's so important, as you've both referred to. I mean, the economic factors impacting the benefit space, generally the voluntary benefits space specifically, it's been hard. I mean, you could definitely speak to this better than I could, but my understanding is, we've seen year after year, double digit cost growth for probably the last 20 plus years in the benefit space for employers. And oftentimes that's 20 to 30% a year over year. And that's just not sustainable. I mean, it's just so hard for organizations to be able to provide that. And so what ends up happening over time is you have a watering down of coverage with a rising expense, both for the employer side of what they're paying out and what they're having their employees pay in to the coverage of the plan. And that's talking about benefits generally. When we get into the voluntary benefits space, then it's all about, okay, we have to dump so much of our money and focus into the mandatory benefits and those that are really expected, that there may not be this feeling that there's a whole lot left over to provide other types of benefits that people are going to value. And maybe speak to that a little bit, like how employers are wrestling with that, how you're able to help provide some of that solution for them as they're trying to wrestle with that, the complexity there.
Sure. John, we offer our program through the brokerage community and benefit consultant community. So we're not necessarily selling direct, even though we could, but our focus is to sell through the benefit brokers. So first, benefit brokers and consultants, they're always looking for new, innovative, ideas and how to engage the employees of their clients in their overall benefit program. So to your point, medical insurance has premiums have skyrocketed, and we've gone from traditional medical plans to high deductible programs to where you're sometimes talking $5,000-$10,000 in annual deductibles, and then there's the co-insurance on top of it. So employers are spending more. Their cost share over to their employees is getting higher. So that's actually, in our mind, good news for those of us in the voluntary benefit business, because again, the employers simply can't continue to afford much more than the medical, coverage that they offer, right? So, and benefits, they might offer, when it comes to overall benefits, they might offer, a group life insurance program, maybe a long-term disability benefit, dental, and we're seeing more of those benefits turning from employer funded to partially funded and or voluntary. As you said, at the end of the day, everyone's worried about the employers, the HR professionals are worried about, well, how much can we throw at the employees before they say stop? We can't, we just don't have any more discretionary dollars to pay for this. But the good news is that, by offering a large suite of voluntary benefits, and offer them in a way that makes it easy to understand, as I said earlier, but also affordable, where those employees can determine what their need is and pick and choose accordingly. That's the trend that I've seen over my entire career, right? So the question is, how does the broker or the benefit consultant engage their client to the point that their client understands what their employees need, right? And that can be done in many ways, but going back to the need for our program, we believe that for the right business, for the right employer group, our program will be a very highly utilized benefit, right? So we actually give employees a $5,000 bank account, right, that they can tap into annually if in the event they have a vehicle breakdown. So we want high utilization, where a lot of voluntary benefits are hiding when it comes to utilization of the program. They don't want the utilization. So high utilization just means, better, hopefully, participation and better appreciation for the overall benefit. So, we think we have a good solution for the average working American today.
I mean, the reality is, for that average working American, the average age of the vehicle is just on the road today is just increasing. It's about 12 years right now, and over half of the American population just have no savings at all. Wouldn't be able to cover, that big $1,000 repair bill. So it's just so relevant in people's lives, and the utilization of this product, like I said, it's something, or like Ed said, it's something that we truly want, and that is obviously quite different than most other products in the voluntary space.
Yeah, and you've both talked about giving employers a chance to provide a benefit that will actually be utilized and appreciated by employees, which is so hugely important. I've seen, at places where I've worked where they've provided these optional, these voluntary kind of benefits. And frankly, the vast majority of them are not things that people are actually interested in. They're low cost or no cost types of benefits that the organization may have negotiated, but I'm not sure they're actually utilized by much of anybody. And so the perceived actual value of them, I think, is pretty darn low. And I'm not really sure what it brings to the table, other than the company being able to say that, look at what we offer, and they can point to that, maybe when they're recruiting people or onboarding people. But other than that, it doesn't get used. So having stuff that's utilized, that actually matters, that people say they want and they need, that really does make a difference. And it's a much better way to leverage the limited money, the investment that you have to put into those types of benefits.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, definitely better than, it's easier to be excited about utilizing a product like this than it would be, accidental death and dismemberment. One is a better situation to be using this in. And, it's kind of that tangible thing. Like I said in the beginning, this is something that everybody kind of, to some degree, lives with in their head, that this could be a problem for me. So it's really easy to picture yourself using this product.
Yeah, which is what we all need. We all need to be able to picture ourselves using those things for them to actually be useful to us. And as an employer, you're seeking to help employers to help their people, right? And as an employer, I want to do what's going to matter for my people. Why waste your time doing things that aren't salient or relevant to your people? There's plenty of other things you can be focusing on. So let's recalibrate and do things that are actually going to make a difference. So as we get towards wrapping up, just why don't you tell us just a little bit more about Taco at Work, how people can get connected, and really how you're going to be able to benefit organizations, and then we can wrap things up for today.
Sure, Ed, I'll let you take this away about how to get connected.
Sure. Real easy, John. We have a website, tocowarranty.com, which leads to our Taco at Work landing page with a lot of great information on it. On that landing page is my contact information, my email address, my phone number, and brokers, employers can reach out to me directly, either through that landing page or my email address, and request a formal proposal, and we will turn around a proposal within 24 hours. But overall, I think this is truly a benefit that over the last few months that I've been with Toco, that every time I talk about it with a benefit broker and or an employer, they're extremely excited about. And they love the fact that we've taken a direct-to-consumer type of a program and brought it into the employee benefit business. And again, make it affordable, make it easy to enroll and easy to understand. But the affordability is really the critical part. I think everyone that I've asked over the last several months, if you could purchase a auto warranty program on your 10-year-old vehicle, would you want it? And the answer is always yes. The question is, can they afford it, right? So we've made this program extremely affordable. Actually, our price points can be as low as about 50% less than what an employee can purchase on the direct-to-consumer side of the business. So a very significant discount. When I started, or right before I started at Toco, I went onto their website. I enrolled my 2011 GMC Sierra pickup truck. Now, it's in perfect shape. It's got about 140,000 miles on it. It looks new, feels good, drives well. So I put the information in, and the monthly rate was $112 a month. Enrolling it at Toco at work, the price point is about $60 a month. So again, a significant savings. And there are roughly about 7% of working Americans out there that own an auto warranty on the direct-to-consumer side. So it doesn't sound like a big number, but there's 229 million unprotected vehicles out there. So once an employee, again, can get access to our program through their employer, we anticipate that we're going to see, a good level of participation, and that will lead even to better appreciation and participation down the road when even more employees find out about it.
Wonderful. Edward, Brad, this has just been a really great conversation. It's been informative for me, given me a lot to think about. I hope it's been helpful to my audience as well. I really encourage the audience to reach out, to get connected, find out more about what Toco can do for you. And as always, I hope everyone can stay healthy and safe, that you can find meaning and purpose at work each and every day. And I hope you all have a great week. Do you enjoy the Human Capital Innovations podcast? Enjoy ad-free listening by going to the Patreon page, and please consider contributing even at the producer or sponsorship level. And please leave a review. Thank you for your support. Thanks again for joining us for this episode of the Human Capital Innovations podcast. I hope you stay healthy and safe, and that you have a great week.